Good morning, everyone, to this international webinar on gender equality in sports. I am welcoming everyone to this webinar and wishing everyone a good start of the day. We will be talking about gender equality in sport today. And I am Wouter Cools, professor and the assistant professor at the University of Brussels. And I'll be your host for today. I'm speaking on behalf of the SWOST consortium, a group of people gathered together and funded by the European Union in Erasmus plus sport fundings. And we are trying to, within this project, Sports Without Stereotypes, we are trying to provide, or we've been developing a tool that pursues or aims to support sports organizations in their development towards a gender equal functioning. Today, we will be, we've invited Sanna, Erdogan and Aino, Raiskinmäki to talk about their fantastic work in federations in Finland, and I will be the last speaker and introduce you to the self-assessment tool that we've developed with the SWOST consortium. So first of all, Sanna, Erdogan will introduce us to gender equality work at Finnish Coaches Federation in the past 10 years. Please, Sanna, I will invite you to floor.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity to tell about our project Coach Like a Woman in Finnish Coaches Association. My name is Sanna Erdogan. I'm the project worker in this initiative. Also, I'm doing research on coaches in the University of Lapland. Few words about our association. The Finnish Coaches Association mission is to promote coaches' competencies, appreciation, and communality. The association helps its members to develop their skills, succeed, and gain recognition. The membership is open for everyone, also for different federations and associations. The Finnish Coaches Association has had cooperation with the Erasmus Plus project, where we did this international education for mentors. The Coach Like a Woman project has started 2013 with ball sports. With ball sports, the project takes 5 years. The main results of these 5 years was that it is possible to increase equality in coaching with long-term activities, and it had positive influences to female coaches' coaching pathways, and we could help many coaches to take more responsibility in coaching. Also, we could make female coaches' competence better so that they will take more role in the national teams and in the highest level on ball sports in Finland. After the 5 years project in ball sports, we continued this project with combat sports. It was the year 2020 and 21, and there was judo, karate, Muay Thai, fencing, modern pentathlon, boxing, wrestling, weightlifting, taekwondo, and taido. The main goal in this combat sports project was to inspire former athletes or athletes at the end of their competition careers to become coaches. We wanted to encourage female coaches to extend their coaches' competencies and take new challenges. Here are some examples of activities. We help federations to plan equality plans by organizing workshops. We organize meetings to build networks. We educate mentors and organized mentoring groups for female coaches. We gave financial support to female coaches to take part on different educations. Here are some pictures. First, about the meetings where we did have all the planning. Here you can see these workshops for federations. Where we put these plans to actions. Here is a lovely picture of 30 women who take part in the coaches' education. Also, we have meetings with the coaches who are in high performance level, and these meetings only for female coaches in high performance. To summarize, this 2 years initiative was really successful. As you can see, the numbers of participation. So these sports are quite small in Finland. So this was really good sign for us that we got so many activities within these 2 years. And to put in qualitative ways, so we could once again make impact to individual coaches' pathways. We could help and support female coaches to take part in educations. But after these 2 years, it was clear that it's still necessary to have these activities and support for female coaches, even though in Finland, generally, it's really equal country, but in the coaching, it's still really unequal. Now we are doing, once again, 2-year project with racket sports, and there are tennis, squash, badminton, paddle, and table tennis. We have same kind of activities, but also some new ones. So on the right-hand side, you can see this like local sport club meeting where we want to put so many female coaches together as possible. Then on the left-hand side, you can see this kind of women coaches networks, which helps us to make these equality plans further to the sport field of racket sports. Thank you for your time and listening to my presentation. I'll be glad if you contact me for more information, and I'll be happy to cooperate with any more projects that involve equality work and equality work in sport coaching. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanna, for your contribution. For what I've learned is that you've been working with coaches and you've been focusing on the change from elite athletes, towards a coaching profession, and that you've been focusing on facilitating this change, especially for women, because is it really necessary, and maybe they also have some other needs. I'm really interested to have some exchange about that, and I will be eager to ask you some questions later on in this webinar on your interesting presentations. And then I would really like to introduce our next speaker of today, Mrs. Aino Raiskinmäki, and she's will be telling us something about gender equality development in Finnish Workers' Sport Federation, and the floor is hers now.
Good morning to you all, and thank you for this opportunity, and thank you, Sanna, for telling us about the work that you are doing in the Finnish Coaches Association. So, hello everyone. My name is Aino Raiskinmäki, and I'm going to be telling you about the gender equality work that we do in the Finnish Workers' Sports Federation, TUL. Let's see that the slides are changing. So yes, shortly about me, I'm working as the administrative coordination in the Finnish Workers' Sports Federation, TUL, as we say in Finnish. I'm also responsible for our equality committee, which is a panel of volunteers and board members and employees who are working in the field of equality in our organization. And I'm also the contact person in cases of inappropriate behavior. So here are only a few things about what we are doing. And I'm going to tell you today about the work that we do in the field of equality in TUL. Okay, so shortly about our organization, TUL. We were founded in 1919 by sports clubs. And this is the main thing that I want to tell you about our history, because we are still here for our 700 member organizations. Sports clubs, we have small clubs that based on volunteering, and also those kind of bigger sports clubs that have teams in the elite leagues in football or basketball, for example. But our main focus is on grassroots sports and giving aid to our member clubs in every kind of situation. Our bigger vision is that sports is a possibility for everyone. So persons' gender, age, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, or ethnic background, for example, should not be obstacles for participation in sports. And that is what we want to do larger in the Finnish society and international networks as well. Equality is one of our main values. We want to help our sports clubs and other clubs and organizations as well to develop their work in gender equality. And how are we doing that? I think that it's important to give support to those who are doing the grassroots work, who are working in the club's administration, or are the board members, the coaches, the volunteers. They should know about these things. So we are trying to focus on that. We are producing education. We have courses for the sports clubs about equality and equality work. We also set examples of rules and documents for clubs administration, for example. We have our organization's ethical instructions that guide us in everything that we do. And we want to also set an example of what the sports clubs, for example, can do in their own hometowns as well, about the ethical issues and ethical instructions in their work. And also, we want to help our clubs with equality planning and equality instructions that they have for their own clubs and their administration. We are using our own e-learning platform, tulkouluttaa.fi. And one of the main things that we are doing in the field of equality and education about equality is an extensive online education program for equality in sports. There is 12 lectures in Finnish. I hope that maybe someday we would have, for example, English subtitles in these, but the lectures are, for example, about equality in sports clubs. What are the grassroots procedures that the clubs or organizations or even single people can do? There is lectures about gender equality, sexual equality, discrimination and harassment, etc. So via this online learning platform, we can spread the message as wide as possible, because we also teach and educate face-to-face, but with this kind of learning platform, we can spread the message even wider. And what I'm very proud of actually about our work is that our online courses are open for everyone. They are not only for our member organizations and clubs. If you are working in the field of, for example, in the school world or anything like that, you can also use our courses and lectures about the facts that what we can do in the field of equality as well. So they are open for all, open for everyone. We want everyone to get this message and to think about the equality work in their organizations. Here are just some pictures about our online platform. We are using Moodle, which is, I think it's very familiar for a lot of people, and it's easy to use. And via this online learning platform, we can reach, despite the region that our clubs, for example, are, we can reach them easily. Okay, what other measures have we been doing in these last few years, for example, is that we work together towards more equal world of sports. One of the main things in our work is that we have zero tolerance for harassment and inappropriate behavior, and we are also want to set this example for smaller organizations, sports clubs, volunteer organizations as well. We have, for example, named harassment contact persons in every meeting. They work as a support person if you see or face harassment or inappropriate behavior, so you can report it easily and safely. And we have also created online form for reporting inappropriate behavior. And these are also like these as easy as possible to report the possible harassment or whatever problems people may see in the activity. And via this, we want to spread this message, for example, to the sports clubs as well. What other measures have been taken? We are really committed to Finnish sports communities' work towards more equal world of sports. We are parts of a Finnish Olympic Committee, for example, and we are committed to their work to prevent inequality, for example. We want to welcome all genders and background as our employees and board members, volunteers. And what I think is really important is that we have a good representation in communication, social media, our website, for example. We often see only male elite athletes, for example, but our main focus is in the grassroots sports, and we want to see all genders and ages and all sorts of things represented in our media. We are also participating in international Workers and Amateurs Sports Association, CSIT, and other international networks as well, to spread the message and what we are doing here, so that the international world of sports would be more equal as well. Okay, I think my time is up. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to ask. You can reach me by email as well. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the seminar as well. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Aino, for this interesting presentation and for staying within the time granted as well. Interesting story as well. Again, I've noted a few things about your talk. It was really impressive that you have an e-learning platform open for an international public. Maybe we should have some exchange some ideas to make it more accessible in the English language indeed. I think a few minor things can be discussed, and we can see whether we can open this one for the broader public, at least in the English language. I also was very triggered by the fact that you mentioned that there is a focus on a zero tolerance for harassment and violence, and that you have a reporting system. I have a few questions on that as well, so I am looking forward to our question session at the end of this webinar. On behalf of the Sports Consortium, I will be talking about the gender assessment screening, or the self-assessment screening tool for gender equality that we've been developing within the SWOST project, Sports Without Stereotypes. So I will briefly explain how we designed this tool and in which phase we are, and then I will be presenting the tool on a very low barrier presentation. So we've developed this tool to support sports organizations to pursue gender equity. So when things have been implemented, you can actually tick that in the tool. So we've conceptualized design, and now we are in the testing phase of this gender scan tool. And the final version of this tool will be released in September 23. Access to this tool is via our website, swost.eu, and you will see that you will have starting screen on the website, going to the assessment tool to get access already at this moment, but knowing that we are still in beta version with still a tool in development. But you can, as an association, you can already participate with the tool and use the tool, and when you finish the tool, you will receive a quality label when appropriate. So the domains, the self-assessment domains that we focused on is human resources, and within these human resources, there are questions pointed to leadership positions and making leadership accessible for every member, coaching questions on numbers of coaches within your organization, but also on the real measures that have been taken to promote gender equity in your sports organization. The same goes for sports members, of course, and that is focused on within the subcategory of participation. Another part of the tool will be focusing on policies and how your organization has different policies. As we've already heard, Aino and Sanna talking about which kind of measures could and should be taken to support gender equity in your organization. About some attention is given to how you communicate and how you promote your sports in media and your communication. A larger part is focused on the combat of gender-based violence and harassment, and a final part will be focusing on gender equality in your sports facilities and equipment. So what we are trying to do with the labels is help you creating awareness in the first phase, help you planning for action in the second phase, going over to action and maintaining change in a later stadium. So one of the questions examples is shown in this slide. The website or the tool will be available in several languages or is already available in several languages. These are all the languages of the partner organizations that are within the SWOST consortium. So the tool consists of the self-analysis and then a user experience questionnaire, followed by the question whether you want to remain anonymous or whether you want to receive a certificate. But then, of course, we will need to provide your sports organization's details to make sure that your quality label is connected to your organization. You will receive, depending on the answers in the self-assessment tool, you will be receiving a wooden quality label, a bronze quality label, a silver quality label, or a gold label. And it all depends on the situation where your sports association or your sports organization is at that moment in time. You can always redo the questionnaire to grow and to get a higher quality label upon your development over the coming years. So after receiving or after going through the assessment tool, you will be able to also get some resources or to find some resources that can support you in your further development towards gender equity in your sports club. And a final version of this tool will be available in September 2023, and it will be presented or promoted in a dissemination activity, a final multiplier event in September 2023, I'm sorry. And you can subscribe in our website for more information and apply for a possible travel and accommodation grant to this multiplier event. You can screen or you can access this subscription in this QR code or by the link in this presentation. And then I'd like to end this with thank you all for listening to this webinar, and I hope we can move on to some questions. So maybe I will start with some questions. Thank you very much, Sanna, again, and Aino for your interesting presentations. Sanna, I was really triggered by the fact that that you've developed a number of supporting coach programs for female coaches. Is this also something that is, because I didn't understand, is this all face-to-face programs, or is there also a part of it as an online learning platform? And what kind of certification is attached to it?
Thank you for your question. So this isn't like the initiative is just to support women coaches. And one kind of like way to support is that if the federation and like the amount of the price is in the education, it's like 1,000 euros. So we can give like 400 euro financial support to take part on the education system. On
that there is too much pressure on the internet connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so shame. Yeah, but
problem.
So they can.
We can hear you again, Sanna.
I'm back. This is so embarrassing. So they can give they can have the education from their own federation, but if they are like participating in this mentoring group, so it's just for support. So it's not really like the graduate to anything, and most of these are still on-person events, but we have some kind of like hybrid events to give them like the national support. But most of this is just like for support, not so much like this official like anything like in the system.
Sanna, do you also focus on the fact that needs, programming needs, and the times when coach trainings are organized? Is there also some kind of a sensitization project towards the federations in organizing this on a time that fits more for women?
It's just like more support to the federations that they try to get more women to take part in the coaching. So it's just like the level of the participation. So usually we start with the federations that they took some charts that how many coaches are taking part in their educations and how many like male or female coaches have been in the higher level education, and then they usually see that it's like 5% of those are like female coaches, and then we ask them to contact every like woman coaches that they know and ask them to participate in this education. So we don't have like this specific substance that would be good for women or male coaches or female or male. It's just more like that we get female coaches to take part in these educations.
Okay, thank you very much for this contribution. I know I have a few questions for you as well. So you said, okay, this is an open platform. I don't know. So the lectures in which kind of program or in which kind of form are they embedded in? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we have been using, we have this Moodle platform that we transfer the videos from Vimeo, for example. I think the challenging part is the subtitles, for example, because, for example, in our organization, we don't have one specific person who is doing only the online education, for example. We are doing it more with our, for example, substance groups, and also we are getting material from different kind of organizations as well. And what do we do is that we want to make it accessible for everyone, but unfortunately there is the language barrier. We have Finnish subtitles in our lectures, but not unfortunately English. But we also have these other courses that have more like there are online exams even, and all sorts of that kind of things. But in this equality course, we are focusing on the lectures and giving the student as much information as possible.
I was wondering whether you have considered uploading your videos into YouTube, because there is an automatic translator in it. It's not perfect, but it can help to provide more access to a larger public. So maybe some experiments with this. You can do this in a hidden YouTube channel, so that it's not completely public and you can only link it to your Moodle platform. But this is something that we've been considering when working with our promotional videos and getting more access to a broader audience. We had actually the same experience with our local coaches that felt more comfortable talking in Dutch, and then we decided to do this, and we used YouTube as a translator tool for the subtitles then. So that was actually what we've taken as a, let's say, an acceptable way of working.
Yeah, that sounds good, and we should definitely take that into consideration. Yeah.
But I'm really fun that you already have 12 lectures about gender equality and promoting gender equality in sports organizations, because they will be really helpful to support sports organizations towards the more gender balanced functioning in general. So congratulations for that as well.
Thank you.
Are these lectures or this program, is this already leading to some kind of a certification for coaches and or federations, and is it linked with some kind of support from the government or something?
No, we only have you can get a certification when you do the whole program, but we also like to encourage people to do, for example, we have also lectures about gender equality, sexual harassment, all kind of that. But for example, to making the sports more accessible for people who have disabilities, for example. And we also want to give the clubs and organizations, even people, the possibility to focus on what they need. Some people, they have a great gender equality program in their organization at the moment, but they need to focus more on, for example, the financial equality and how to make the sports possible for people from different socioeconomic status, for example. And we also like to encourage that you don't have to do the whole education process. You can only focus on those things that mean the most to you, for example. So we want to we don't want to make it as hard as possible to do. We want to spread the information to a very large number of people.
That sounds very great. And I see the link between what we are doing in the SWOST, because actually that helps sports organizations to map out where they are and how far they've already developed. And then they can see where the gaps are. And they can also decide what to work on first. They can set priorities with this tool that we are about to develop and about to finish to develop. Because our tool is not really an educational tool. It's really a self-assessment, so that clubs can map out where are we, what are our strengths, and what is the next step. And Nico will provide some more information about that, or has a question. Nico.
Wouter, thank you. Thank you to both presenters. And I was very happy to notice that Wouter already thought what I was thinking as well, that the contribution from Aino and also from Sanna can provide us great means to route our project to the life after the project funding ends. So, and that's why I was so happy to communicate with Aino's colleague Pirkko from Workers' Sport Federation, and also Sanna, that we can establish this kind of networks also for the future.
Pirkko is here now. Thanks for
Hello.
To me.
Greetings from Lapland.
Yes, thank you.
So any final comments or contributions? I see that some people have joined the webinar, so you feel free to ask any questions to any of the speakers. They are available now. They are at your disposal. When there is no one else that likes to share, I really like to get back to one of my final slides before, and invite all of you to subscribe to the newsletter, but also for the federations and the sports organizations that see this webinar in a later phase. Please subscribe. Also, our member of our memorandum of understanding to support this project, and to make sure that we can also involve you in future activities on further develop the tool and make sure that it becomes a real practical tool to support you in your growth to gender equality in your sports organization. So the memorandum of understanding is an important document, and it remains me with thanking you all for this your contributions, especially Sanna and Aino, Nico as well for your support, Alessandro for the technical support, and Okesho for your attendance at this webinar, and also the other people that have been listening. And I hope to see you soon again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Wouter, of this excellent leading of the webinar, and all the colleagues as well. Greetings from north of Finland.
Thank you all and see you in the future. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.